Forget everything you think you know about Formula One, because what's about to happen in 2026 isn't an update. It isn't a tweak. It's a demolition, and a complete rebuild from the ground up. The FIA just handed every single team a blank sheet of paper and said, start over. 2026 is unusual in that we're having both new engine formula and new aerodynamic concept at the same time. It's unprecedented. Formula One isn't just updating its rules, it's hitting a total system reset. This is the 2026 revolution, the most radical transformation in the history of the sport. But while the FIA promises a golden age of wheel-to-wheel combat, the teams are privately terrified of one specific change that could make these cars nearly impossible to drive. Today, we deconstruct the new F1 playbook. And by the end of this video, you'll understand exactly why the billion-dollar question keeping every team principal awake at night is this: who figures it out first, and who gets left behind? Formula One is bracing for its most radical transformation in decades, perhaps even the entire history of the sport. Come 2026, the grid will not just look different, it will race differently. These engine regulations have been running for 12 years. Having made their debut in 2014, F1's hybrid power units took the sport to new levels. They were the most reliable, most economical, and arguably the most closely matched F1 engines of all time. But here's the thing about dominance: it breeds complacency. F1's power units are having their first major refresh in a dozen years, and there will be a new aerodynamic concept to complement them, leading to a shake-up of the pecking order with everyone starting from scratch. This is why we're seeing something extraordinary. F1 in 2026 has 5 power unit manufacturers, of which 1 is new and 2 are newish. F1's first new team in more than a decade, Cadillac, will join the grid for 2026. Now, in a moment, I'm going to show you exactly how the new overtake mode system works and why it makes DRS look like a toy. But first, you need to understand the machine that's going to deploy it. Let's start with what you'll actually see on track. The 2026 machine is officially going on a diet. The cars will be shorter, narrower, lighter, and nimbler. The wheelbase has been shortened, which in theory means they should be more responsive through corners. The cars will still be fitted with 18-inch Pirelli tyres, but they are narrower. That'll cut drag and trim off yet more weight. Here are the exact numbers. The wheelbase maximum drops to 3,400 millimeters. Width narrows to 1,900 millimeters. The minimum weight is set at 768 kilograms. That's 30 kilograms lighter than the current cars, resulting in a much more dynamic machine. To the casual viewer, 30 kilos sounds like a suitcase. To an F1 engineer, it's an eternity. Every gram removed allows for more flickability in chicanes. Even the tires are narrowing to reduce the frontal area. The minimum weight of an F1 car has been steadily creeping up, adding around 200 kilograms over the last 20 years. More safety features and ferocious crash tests combined with the extra weight of hybrid systems have pushed it ever higher. 2026 reverses that trend, finally. Think about what this means: less like a freight train on rails, more like a fighter jet on wheels. But there's a catch. By making the car smaller, you lose floor area. And in the world of ground effect aero, floor area is grip. If you lose grip, how do you prevent these cars from sliding into the barriers at every turn? The answer lies in a controversial new technology called active aero, and it's going to change how drivers use their wings forever. But here's the problem that's plagued F1 for years, and why these changes matter more than just lap times: dirty air. The turbulent weight that makes following a car through a corner feel like driving through a hurricane. The front wheels of an F1 car punch a big hole in the air and create a lot of turbulence. Turbulence is the enemy of good aerodynamic performance. Generations of F1 designers have sought to push that turbulent air out to the sides, which allows smoother air to make the rest of the car work effectively. The problem? It creates a mass of roiling turbulent air behind the car, making it very difficult for a following car to stay close. Watch any overtake attempt from the last decade. The car behind gets within a second, and suddenly their front end washes out. They back off. Battle over. The 2026 regulations, mandating simpler front wings and in-washing barge boards, are a robust solution designed to prevent outwashing. There was a lot of focus on the intricate flaws underneath the car in the 2022 to 2025 era. But from 2026, it's all change. Goodbye long ground effect tunnels, and hello flatter floors with extended diffusers and bigger openings. And here's the data that matters. The FIA predicts that following cars will maintain 80% downforce, massive reduction in loss of downforce for the chasing car. But here is where it gets psychological. To make up for the loss of raw aero grip, F1 is introducing something we've never seen at this scale: active aero. For the first time, both the front and rear wings will be smart. They will move during the lap, not just for overtaking, but for survival. That's the difference between backing off and sending it. 2026 gets absolutely insane, because they didn't just redesign the bodywork, they made the wings move. And what happens next changes overtaking forever. For the first time in modern F1 history, active aerodynamics. Active aero allows both the front and rear wings on the new F1 cars to be dynamically adjusted by the drivers themselves during certain straight line and corner sections of the track. Let me be clear about what this means. The 2026 cars will feature both movable front and rear wings, known as active aero, with different configurations for corners the car enters Z mode. The wings angle up, creating maximum downforce to glue the car to the apex, and straights the car enters X mode. The wings flatten, drag vanishes, and top speeds skyrocket. The default mode is corner mode, whereby the front and rear wing flaps will be in their resting position with higher downforce. But here's the loop. If a driver's wing fails to switch back to Z mode before a heavy braking zone, they aren't just losing time, they're losing the car. The margin for error is shrinking to zero. When the blades are closed, they provide downforce, but also cause a lot of drag. When they open, they reduce both drag and downforce. This was designed to offer downforce for higher speeds through the corners, and reduce drag for higher speeds on the straights. The new system is usable by all cars, all of the time. The reason the front wing will now also realign is to better trim the car and provide more stability in harmony with the movement of the rear wing. The result, a 30% reduction in downforce and 55% less drag. This completely transforms where and how drivers can race each other. Active aero means essentially saying goodbye to DRS in its current form, as the rear wing flaps can be opened on every designated straight without the need to be within 1 second of the car in front. Everyone gets the low drag mode. Everyone. No activation gap required. So how do you actually overtake now? This is where driver skill becomes everything. Overtake mode, because the active aero handles drag reduction for everyone, the traditional DRS we've used since 2011 is being retired. In its place, manual override mode. This is fascinating from a psychological perspective. If a trailing car is within a certain distance, they get a boost of extra electrical energy that the lead car cannot use to defend. It's not a push-to-pass button. It's a strategic weapon. Drivers will have to decide. Do I use my battery now to attack, or save it to ensure I don't get passed on the next straight? The steering wheel is becoming a chessboard. Every lap is a tactical puzzle of energy recovery, wing deployment, and sustainable fuel management. Oh, and did we mention? These engines will run on 100% carbon-neutral fuel, proving F1 can be green without losing its soul. But wait, the boost could, in theory, either help them defend from a car behind, or attack a car ahead, providing they have saved enough charge. It can be used all at once or spread across the lap, depending on when they have the best chance to attack or where they are most vulnerable. With 350 kilowatts coming from the MGU-K, drivers have much more electric power at their disposal to play with before. This will become a tactical element. Where exactly will drivers recharge and where will they deploy more energy? From 2026, cars will be more challenging for the teams and the drivers. They'll have to deal with new tech and tighter rules, while managing a greater set of tools to attack or defend that can make or break their ultimate performance and finishing position. With less downforce and tighter control over turbulent air, following a car through a corner should be easier, while getting the best out of the car should be a greater challenge. Now, all of this active aero, all these driver tools, they're powered by something. And what's happening under the hood might be the most significant change of all, because F1 just tripled its electrical power output. The headline for the new F1 engine 2026 regulations is the massive electrification push. The sport is moving to an even split between the internal combustion engine and electrical power. Let me break down the numbers. We are moving from an engine-dominant era to a 50-50th split. The 1.6-litre V6 remains, the old unit's electric motor. The MGU-K had around 20% of their power supplied by the electrical system. The goal for 2026 is to increase this to around 50%. The new MGU-K is nearly 3 times as powerful as its predecessor, delivering 350 kilowatts to the rear wheels, up from 120 kilowatts. And here's a massive simplification. The 2026 engines retain the 1.6-litre V6 turbocharged internal combustion engine, but eliminate the MGU-H motor generator unit heat, a component that recovered energy from exhaust gases. While very effective, the MGU-H was a complicated system. In the 18 years since the original F1 hybrids were sketched out, the technology hasn't been adopted by road car manufacturers. Deleting the MGU-H and concentrating on the MGU-K makes the new unit less complicated and more attractive to manufacturers. To compensate, the car's energy recovery system can now recharge the battery with twice as much energy per lap through recovery under braking or lifting off the throttle at the end of straights. And the fuel. The 2026 engines will use fully sustainable fuels derived from non-food biomass, municipal waste, or carbon capture. This replaces the current E10 blend and eliminates fossil carbon emissions produced by the cars. The carbon will be derived from non-food sources, genuine municipal waste, or even out of the atmosphere. The fuel will also be drop-in, which means it can be used in almost any internal combustion engined vehicle around the world. This isn't just racing innovation. This is technology that could transform the automotive industry. With all this speed, what about safety? No rule change would be complete without further enhancements to safety. The driver's survival cell will be subjected to more rigorous tests, while the roll hoop will be strengthened to take 23% more load. That's roughly the weight of 9 family cars. The FIA has revised the front impact structure rules, introducing a 2-stage nose design to mitigate the risk of detachment in initial impacts. Side intrusion rules are also more stringent, while protection around the driver and fuel cell area has been improved. New lateral lights will clearly signal the RS status of a stopped car, ensuring marshals and drivers are safe near the car. So let's bring it all together. Lighter, nimbler cars, revolutionary active aerodynamics, tripled electrical power, new strategic weapons in the cockpit, and 100% sustainable fuel. F1 in 2026 has 5 power unit manufacturers. Mercedes and Ferrari power the bulk of the field. Mercedes supplies their works team Williams, Alpine, and world champions McLaren. Ferrari powers Haas and new entry Cadillac. Red Bull and Ford power the 2 Red Bull teams. Honda returns with Aston Martin. And the new Audi team has a new Audi power unit. This is a total reset. New cars, new engines, new rules of engagement. Every single decision will matter more than ever before. The billion-dollar question remains: which team figures it out first? In a total reset, who wins? The old hierarchies, they mean nothing now. Can Ferrari's power unit dominate the 50-50th split? Or will a new giant like Audi shock the world? The 2026 season starts in March, and we're all going to find out together. If this breakdown helped you understand the most complex F1 regulation change in history, drop a like and subscribe. Because when Melbourne hits, you'll want to know exactly what you're watching.